Hello, thank you for coming to the tutorial on how to make a mess with some bleeding tissue paper. So for this activity, of course, you need some bleeding tissue paper. So this is the special colored tissue paper that when you get it wet, the colors bleed and soak into the paper. So, and also I chose some watercolor paper. You don't need to use watercolor paper, any paper will do. But because we're going to be spraying this down with water, it needs to be a little bit heavier than just plain white paper. Although you can use that if you want. Just make sure you don't move it until it's dry. And make sure you put it on top of some wax paper so it doesn't stick to what it's drying to. But if you use something heavy like watercolor paper, then you should be fine. So you just need some various colors of your bleeding tissue paper. I've cut mine into strips. You need some scissors and a spray bottle of some water. If you don't have a clean spray bottle, you can use a pipette or a dropper. Anything that's going to be able to get the colors out, because we're just going to use water. So you can even probably pour it a little bit, but that might get a little bit messy. And kids do like to kind of squeeze the squirt bottles. So I've just chosen a few colors here, and all we're going to do is kind of lay them across our picture, make a picture by laying across our paper and then getting it wet. So there's really no rhyme or reason how to do this. I'm just going to kind of make a collage, and you can rip, you can cut any kind of way that you want. It's really fun to kind of experiment with how you place these on your paper. And of course, every way is the right way. So I'm going to use some big strips. You can use smaller strips. You can cut it, you can rip it. I'm just going to, just for the sake of showing how this works, I'm going to try to cover as much as I can, kind of in an abstract pattern. If you want, you can actually make a picture, so you can put maybe some green here and then some other colors up here and make a flower and then maybe a little sun in the corner. It is really up to you. Okay. So now that I've got all my pieces ready, I'm going to take my squirt bottle, or you can take your dropper, and just kind of gently squirt some water. You want to get kind of close because you can see the force kind of blows the other ones away, so you might have to hold down some pieces. But since this is just water, not going to hurt anything. So you can see how the colors start to kind of bleed together here, and that's what we want. See, they kind of move around a little bit, but that's okay. You want to get them nice and wet. There we go. So you want a good layer of wetness on your paper. Get it nice and wet. Make sure all those colors bleed and blend together. And then go ahead and set this aside to dry a little bit. And then we'll come back. Okay, when your painting is all the way dry with your tissues, when they're all the way dry, you can go ahead and peel them off slowly to reveal the colors below. Now, what I did with mine was I actually tried to blow dry mine a little bit, which works kind of if you put it on very, very low setting and you're very, very patient with it. Otherwise, it'll blow it off and you'll get more white spots. But then there's other spots, if you let it on and just let it dry, it will actually be a little bit darker, like right here or here, where the colors have really begun to soak in. But actually, it kind of turns out nice either way. So if you let it dry on its own, you'll have deeper, fuller colors. If you take it off before it's all the way dry, or if you try to use a hair dryer and it falls off, you'll have more of these white spots with a little bit of blotchiness in there, but it looks very cool either way. So then you can use this, you can hang this up just by itself, or you can make bookmarks out of it. or you can draw a picture over top of it. Anything that you want to do, it makes a really beautiful watercolor looking painting.